Dear students, good morning. Welcome to Law Excellence IAS. Let us start the discussion on today's newspaper, that is 14th November 2020. I wish you a happy Diwali and happy Children's Day. So today, weekend, happy Diwali and then Children's Day, all coming together is kind of a bonanza and a happiness bonanza for all of us. Okay, let's get into the articles today. The first article for discussion, Bihar's results as a new phase in backward politics. Let us try to understand this article from the perspective of economic development and social justice. Here we need to remember Ram Manohar Lohia. You know, Lohia is a social justice. And he has made twin wheels for economic development and social justice as a formula for Bihar. So later, Lalu Prasad Yadav and all these people who are followers of Lohia taken it forward. What are these two wheels? One is economic progress and then social justice. Because of this mighty social justice, OBC reservations have come into existence. Among the OBCs, certain castes have become dominant politically and economically. Let me put it as Yadavas in Bihar and UP. In reaction to this dominant Yadavas, again, non-Yadavas or non-dominant OBCs started questioning or started asking for social justice. That is where Nitish Kumar is started arguing in favor of extremely backward classes, EBCs, and then we have Mahadalits among the SCs. So separate reservation category has come into existence. This is what we call as quota within quota. So this is how social justice politics took a turn in Bihar. Then what about the economic development? All the political parties from the days of emergency till date, they forgot economic emancipation which has been proposed by Mr. Lohia. In this case, RJD Tejasvi Yadav, if we recollect today, why he got so many votes? Because non-Yadavas, that is non-dominant other backward classes, also have voted for him because he was able to revive, accept the social justice which is existing today. Along with that, he has promised economic emancipation. So Ram Manohar Lohia's vision for Bihar was taken forward or issued by Mr. Tejasvi Yadav. That is what is giving him the votes. That is the essence of this article. How can we use this in exam? Let's take political parties, especially in the post-Congress era, or single party dominance when it has ended. The two important things for evolution of political competition in India is a rise of social justice concerns and rise of developmental needs. These two can be stated. Congress more or less has taken the developmental needs, and then many of the Janata Party and its offshoots have taken the social justice forward. The next article is Countdown to Greater India-Canada Convergence. What is the major issue between these two countries? That is Khalistan issue. So what is this Khalistan issue? It is a separate national movement of Sikhs, nationalistic movement. They want a country of their own which is called Khalistan. In this scenario, many of these people supportive of Khalistan movement have become the part of Justin Trudeau's cabinet in Canada. And they are vocal about this Khalistan movement, which has obviously have become the voice of Government of Canada, which became inconvenient to Government of India. Today, Canada want to take that backward to make India-Canada relations forward. That's why there is a convergence between these two countries. There are many other factors, but politically this is the most irritant. And after that, people-to-people contacts are increasing along with the government-to-government contacts. It is not just the contacts, it has took to the level of dialogue. In this case, track 1.5 dialogue. This is the dialogue between government officials, think tanks, and experts in various walks of life. And education is becoming an important field of cooperation. If you see, most of the Indian students, they are going to Canada today. After visa restrictions in US, the next best destination in America for them is Canada today. Here, Indian students are expected to have spent $5 billion in Canada, and half a million students are there in Canada today. So, here, though it has stated quarter million, it is half a million now. After that, if you go to trade, both bilateral merchandise trade and investments are increasing on economic front. Today, trade is up to 10 billion Canadian dollars. Investment is up to 50 billion Canadian dollars. And finally, remember one thing. Diaspora is a strength for bilateral relations between any two countries. Indian diaspora is as strong as 1.6 million people. So, this is going to take forward the relations. These are the points which are making convergence between India and Canada. Last, the China factor. The China factor made most of the European countries, United States of America, and today even Canada to be interested in Indo-Pacific. So that's where the interests of India, Canada are also converging. Here I want to make you recollect a recent event happened where Huawei's CFO was arrested in Canada for some irregularities. China in retaliation has held two Canadian nationals as hostage, which famously called as hostage diplomacy. That has hurt the Canadians a lot, and an anti-China sentiment developed in Canada today. So anyhow, the focus on Indo-Pacific by Canada is also converging the interests of India and Canada. The next article is Purveyor of Promise. Yesterday you saw that 1.19 lakh crore rupees of new stimulus is announced by Finance Minister Sitharaman. In this case, how a stimulus has to be, that is the first question. And what is the focus of this stimulus? The focus of this stimulus is unemployment and job creation. So it means construction sector, which is the major employer in India, was given impetus. Second thing, any new jobs created will be given 24 months of EPF benefit. But a stimulus has to be direct or convoluted. If it has to create impact, it has to be direct, simple. If you observe the other countries, how did they give the stimulus? If you take UK, government took the responsibility of payment of salaries of private establishments. And the United States of America, directly money is being kept into the hands of the job lost people. In India, it is very circumluted because we are unable to understand what is the real impact of this stimulus. Many of the previously announced programs, expenditure is being placed into this, and they are trying to increase the size of the stimulus. So, here what the point we need to understand, the real impact can be felt when the stimulus is able to cater to the persons on the street. So, keeping the money in their pockets or in their bank accounts can make a big difference. Content tracking is the next article. This is about regulation of digital media, OTT platforms, etc. The first point we need to look over here is level playing field. Let us take cinema is there. If cinema has to be released in the theater, it has to go through CBFC certification. But if it has to be released on the OTT, no such certification is required. And next, digital media has no regulation, not even self-regulation. When you come to the print media, electronic media, we have regulation. So what we can expect is a level playing field with bringing in regulation to the digital content too. But how this regulation has to be? Does it need to be equated with censorship? Government regulation, can it be allowed? Government regulation is always prohibitive to free speech. Governments may not take the criticism easily. The government regulation ultimately curtails the freedom of speech. You know, freedom of speech is important for the democracy. So the democracy can be taken forward with freedom of speech. So that's why if content has to be regulated on digital media, it has to be through self-regulation. Any kind of government regulation is a big no-go area. Next, Kunal Kamra refuses to apologize, retract tweets. Mr. Kunal Kamra is a stand-up comedian, and he has criticized Supreme Court to an extent that the Supreme Court is politicized and it is unable to treat everyone equally. In the context of Arnab Goswami bail, he made these comments. So that's why Mr. Venugopal, Attorney General of India, has ordered for the initiation of contempt of court proceedings. You know the Prashant Bhushan case, where 1 rupee fine is imposed on him. Today, Supreme Court, even if it seizes the matter and imposes 1 rupee fine, how does it matter? The entire contempt of court today has become a big joke in India. So we need to carefully observe that when the Supreme Court like institution has to set a precedent, has to take a matter for discussion, it has to be very careful. The sanctity of the Supreme Court and other judicial institutions comes from the public trust. There are no elections, these are people appointed. So public trust makes Supreme Court or any other judicial institution to survive, and it has to come from Supreme Court itself. Expansionism policy of a few nations need mature response. Why I highlighted this article? So this is what can be the conclusion on Indo-China relations. So India has concluded that China's ambition in Ladakh is more expansionism. This kind of expansionism shall not be fought with force but be given a mature diplomatic response. I can use it as a good conclusion to my answer. Coming to COVID-19 news, there are a set of things to be observed. One is air pollution, healthcare infrastructure being overstretched healthcare, and then cold weather. All these together making the response of the people in the state to COVID-19 very poor. So it is because of this, almost 140 people are reported to be dead in northern India yesterday itself. 6 civilians among 11 dead in Pak firing across LOC. See, in 2003, Pakistan proposed for a ceasefire agreement and India agreed for the same. But till date, it is not formalized. And the violations of the ceasefire are more or less have become a norm rather than an exception. The point to take home is the ceasefire agreement which is being agreed between two countries need to be formalized as quick as possible. That is the take home point. So this is Dr. Rambabu signing off for Law Excellence IAS. Thank you very much.